Hello everyone. If you are applying for a visitor visa, you should know about all the documents that you may need. In this video, I'll be talking about the list of the documents that you may need in your visa application. We will cover two things in this video. First, I'll take you through all the documents and I'll explain it in detail. And second, we'll go to Government of Canada website and we'll check the supporting documents that they have listed. These are the list of the documents that you will need in your application. I will start with proof of fund first and I'll cover letter of invitation at the very end of this video. So what does proof of fund means? You need to provide proof of fund to show that you have sufficient fund with you. So you can use your bank statement. You can use the balance certificate from bank. You need to ask a bank to provide you with this balance certificate. You can have your net worth and this will need to be prepared by a chartered accountant. And you can show your investment proofs and if any other income sources that you have. So these are the details that an applicant can show if applying for a visitor visa. In addition to these details, if you want, you can attach a bank statement of the inviter who is inviting you to Canada. I'm assuming that somebody is inviting you. If nobody is inviting you, these details are not required. But if somebody is inviting you and if you want to attach their details also, you should attach their bank statement, pay slip, job letter. And also note that if somebody is sponsoring you, then also you need to provide the evidence for that as well. So assuming that you are being invited, you need to upload these documents as part of proof of fund. You can attach all of them in one PDF and also you can attach these documents if you want. So now that we have talked about proof of fund, let me now talk about national identity. So if you are an Indian, you can attach your Aadhaar card. Depending on your country, you will have your national identity card and you can attach that. Now let me the fourth document that you may need, and it is a mandatory document, is your passport. So you need to upload your passport. Fifth is that proof of relationship. Again, I'm assuming that somebody is inviting you to Canada. So if somebody is inviting you to Canada, you need to establish a proof of relationship with them. So how will you establish a relationship with them? You need to show some documents. For example, if the person inviting you is your spouse, then you can show your marriage certificate. And if suppose you don't have a marriage certificate, then you can show any document that has you mentioned as their spouse. For example, your passport. Your passport will have your spouse name. And if you are inviting your parents to Canada, then you can show your birth certificate and you can show your passport, because passport will also have your parents' name, and you can show your birth certificate as well. Another document that is use of a representative. This form is applicable only if somebody else is filling your form on your behalf. For example, you are filling this form on behalf of your parents. In that case, you need to fill this form. If you are filling it for yourself and nobody is filling it for you, this is not required. Therefore, I'll discuss about this form and I'll tell you how to fill it at the very end of this video. Another documents that we suggest that you provide is your employment information. So you can provide a letter from your employer. This obviously is an optional document that you can provide. You can provide your pay slip. You can provide your ITR, which is your income tax return. So you can provide these documents under optional section. Another document that is strongly suggested that you provide is your travel history. If you have traveled a lot, your chances of getting a Canadian visa becomes so much more easier. So if you have visa pages on your passport, the entry and exit stamps by the immigration official, you should also upload those documents as part of your travel history. Another document that I suggest that you provide is your travel itinerary and purpose of visit. Your travel itinerary is basically your flight details. Remember that you don't have to book your flight, because unless until your visa is confirmed, there is no point in booking a flight. So this is an itinerary, a tentative plan. So you can have your flight details, your hotel reservation. Uh, if you have registered for an event, you can attach that as well. So these are your travel plans. And this also suggests that what is your purpose of visit. For example, you're going to some event. And other than this, you can also write a cover letter mentioning all the details, what you are planning to do, what you're gonna do, and everything. Other than this, another document that you can upload, again, these are optional documents. You can upload is an affidavit taking undertaking that you will return back to your country. So you can write an affidavit accordingly. So I have talked about all these documents. These are the optional documents: travel itinerary, travel history, employment information. But again, if you provide these documents, this will make your case strong. If applicable, use of a representative form. If somebody is applying on your behalf, you need to establish a relationship with the inviter. So proof of relationship, a passport, a national identity card, and a proof of fund. So all these documents can work as your proof of fund. You can have all these documents in one PDF. And at the last, you need to also provide a letter of invitation to make your case very strong. So what is a letter of invitation? This is simply an invitation letter from your inviter. This is a sample of letter of invitation. This will indicate your name, your date of birth, what you are doing, and if you are studying somewhere and if you're working somewhere, this will include that as well. And now you will talk about your parents, their date of birth, their passport, they are Indian citizen, your father and your mother. And then you will talk about their address and their telephone number. Then you will talk about the visa that they are applying, about their expected visit and why are they visiting, and how long they intend to stay. Now you will talk about where they will stay, if you are responsible for the financial support for the duration of their visit, or will they cover it themselves, and if they will be bringing any fund with them, mention that as well. This is a sample of letter invitation that you can write. Now that we have talked about the list of all the documents, let me walk you through the list provided by the Government of Canada. If you answer this question, why are you visiting Canada, they will list out all the documents that you may need. For example, if you are visiting as a tourist, you will have a separate list of documents, and if you are going there for a family visit, you will have a separate list of documents. For example, if you are going for a family visit, you will need a letter of invitation. You will need to establish a proof of relationship with the person who is inviting you. But if you are going there just as a tourist, you will not need letter of invitation, you will not need proof of relationship. Now let's assume that we are going there for a family visit. So I'll click on for a family visit. Now this will ask you the status of your family member in Canada. So this is basically asking you that do they have permanent residency in Canada, or are they citizen in Canada? So depending on these answers, they will list out the documents that you may need. So assuming that they are permanent resident, once this selected, you will say yes or no to this question, where they are asking that if they are coming for more than 6 months or less than 6 months. So if they are coming for less than 6 months, you should provide no, and then it will list you all the documents that you may need. So let us check that. So they have mentioned a letter of invitation. They mentioned it is an optional document, but it is strongly suggested that you provide it. And if you want to see how the letter of invitation should look like, you can click on this details to include in the letter, and you should see this. You must include the information about the person you are inviting. All these information you must include. In addition to these information, you must include information about yourself as well. These are the information about yourself that you must include. And if you're applying for super visa, again there are a few more things that you may need to include, so read this very carefully. So Now coming back to the list of the documents, you need to provide your itinerary, which is again optional, but it is again suggested that you provide it. It will make a visa officer work a lot more easier. So you can provide your flight details, reservation, or any registration for any event. You can provide your account statement. Also remember that if the account statement that you're providing should show your bank name and contact. It should also have your name and address on the statement, and the statement should be of at least 6 months. At least 6 months of account details. Next document is identity document, which is a mandatory document, hence it is written yes. So it is your passport. They mention passport. You must provide a copy of the page that shows your birth date and country of origin. Any pages with stamps, visas, or markings. So this will show you travel history also. Now the next document is proof of relationship. We have already discussed it. It is a mandatory document. If you have a family member living in Canada, you will need proof of relationship to establish relationship with them. How can you uh, prove it? This can include a copy of a marriage certificate, a birth certificate, official document naming you as a parent. Again, I have also talked about employer information with you. This is also an optional document, but again, this is also strongly suggested that you can provide. A letter from your employer can confirm that you have a stable job and will return to it. So they do not want you to come to Canada and then don't return back to your country. So if you have an employment back home, this means that this tells them that you have no reason to overstay in Canada and you will return back to your country. So again, you should read this because it will have the letter should include no earlier than 3 months, your full name and date of birth, date you started the job, brief description of your job, and I believe this should be on company's letterhead, official letterhead. So it cannot be on any piece of paper, but it should be on official letterhead. So this is an optional, but if you can get this information, this will help your case. Now let me make something clear. Like in the Government of Canada website, we've seen that letter of invitation is an optional document. They have mentioned it, but I would suggest anything that I've highlighted in yellow, consider it as mandatory documents because this will make your case strong. So you need to provide these documents, and anything that I've not highlighted in yellow is an optional document. But again, it is also strongly suggested that you provide these documents also. Now that I have discussed everything in detail, there is one more thing left to be discussed, and that is use of a representative. So you need to fill this form, IMM 5476 form, if you are applying on behalf of someone. For example, if you are applying for Canada visitor visa for your parents, then as a representative for them, you need to fill this form. So let me show this form to you. This is the form that you need to fill if you are applying on behalf of somebody. So appointing a representative, yes, you need to check this box, and then you need to complete these sections A, B, and D. So under section A, you need to fill section A, your full name. This will be the applicant full name. This will be the applicant given name, the person you are inviting. This will be his date of birth. And then you need to fill section B because we need to fill A, B, and D. Now this is the information of representative, the inviter. So you will fill your name, the inviter's given name here, and the inviter's surname here, and you will select on friend or family member. You will give the address. So this will be the inviter's address, the Canadian address, the telephone number, the email address, The inviter will sign over here, the inviter slash representative, and this will be the date mentioned over here. Section C we will not be filling. Section D, this will be the applicant sign, the person who is being invited. This will be the date. So if you are inviting your father, this will be your father sign, and this will be your mother sign. And again, the date will be mentioned over here. So this is how you fill this representative form. With that, we come to the end of this recording. I hope this content was useful to you, and if you like it, please do remember to subscribe this channel. Thank you.